Hey Villa fam, you're back with Two Village Girls for another eventful week of honest conversations. Today we're here to tell you about neglect.
So this week we're going to talk about neglect and basically what we mean is like no child going hungry, making sure that children have their basic needs
Mm-hmm.
being met, making sure they're fed, clothed, um, being getting the education that they need, making sure that the people in their life are being
Safe and keeping them healthy.
yeah, basically making sure that the people in their life are doing the same thing, making sure that their basic needs are being met as well. Can't have people in the child life that like you can't have them watching them if they're not going to make sure that the child is good.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. We're going to start by talking about their basic home skills and home needs that we can teach our children to get them started on the right track and help them take care of themselves and find that support from their family and guide them in the right direction. So basic home skills are
Basically, making sure that your child have good hygiene, making sure that they get bathed regularly, brush their teeth regularly, floss regularly. That's good hygiene that they need. Um, like clean clothes, basically making sure that your child looks decent. If sending your child out to school or out to whatever event that they're going to, you just want to make sure that they had the certain things that they need. So
yeah. In school settings, we typically see um, some signs of neglect are coming to school with dirty clothes on. In one particular center that I worked for, we had a child who regularly came in sick and with like a dirty face. So first thing in the morning, they get dropped off at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
mhm.
Um, and seeing that they have the same pamper on from like the night before when they got picked up from daycare, or um, coming in with like snot dripping down their face and like dried to their face. We
Mhm.
see those kinds of things are signs of neglect because they're unhealthy, they're not being treated with care at home, their sanitation is questionable because the parents are seeing that this 2, 3-year-old child is visibly soiled and not making like the changes needed, the cleaning, the wiping needed. Um, so those are some things that we typically get like concerned about because it's like, what's going on at home that the parents are sitting here saying, oh, they're dirty, but it's okay, I'm not dealing with this today. um and particularly the health concerns, like imagine working in a center and seeing a child coming in with like their face is all red and irritated from the snot and everything. Like what goes through your mind when you see that?
It's just like um like what is the parents doing at home? Like why can't it's just something simple as just washing their face or making sure that their nose is clean when they are sick because it's just germs. That's all germs. You cannot. That's like
Absolutely.
sending the kids to school with all of that on their face. That's giving other kids germs too. Yeah. So that's just it's just kind of hurtful to see like kids aren't getting their basic things done at home, such as cleaning, making sure that they come to school clean,
And
um,
healthy.
yeah, and healthy. Because some people just still send their kids to school when they are sick, when they should be home, getting rest, getting medicine, making sure that the parent is there, supporting them to get better, not at school passing on germs to other kids.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one one time I think I was sick when I was a child, and I think I was in high school, and I think I was nauseous or whatever. So And I didn't tell my grandmother because like I didn't like missing school. I like to have perfect attendance.
Aw.
So I went to school. I tried to go to school anyway, sick, and then I had walked. As soon as I walked outside, I had threw up everywhere.
Oh my
And
gosh.
my grandma came outside yelling like, "Why are you going to school? Aren't you sick? Go back in the house and lay down there." Da 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 da. So I don't know. That's one thing I did when I was little. I tried to still go to school even though I was sick, but it's just like getting away from the house.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it is important for your kid to stay home, especially now since COVID.
Oh, absolutely.
You need to be home.
Absolutely. Like it's easy to say like it's just a runny nose, but like think about it from like the teaching perspective or think about it from like the child's perspective. Children don't blow their noses by themselves. They don't wipe their faces by themselves. They don't sneeze and cough into their elbows right away as a young child. And they play. They interact with everyone. They're always up and moving. I don't know. I don't know about your children, Villa fam, but all the children that I've ever met is bouncing, bubbly, super energetic. Even when they're sick, they don't realize, unless they're like really, really sick, they don't realize that they're
They like to keep moving. Definitely
exactly.
sick. Yeah.
So imagine all of those, and then you're just sending them on their way without like medication or wipes, tissues, anything. So it just becomes like a big cesspool of germs and a big like whirlpool of like every like you come in, you go home because you bring them home because they're sick, you bring them back, they get sick again because the sickness never went away.
Yeah, and it's stuck to be a habit, and it can
Mm-hmm.
be avoided. It can be avoided.
Yeah.
You can just teach your kids like the proper way to wash their hands. You can even teach them the proper way to wash their face too, because I know that when I teach the one student I teach, he learns how to wash his face by himself and his hands by himself. We make sure that he does it, not that we not I'm doing it for him. So that's another way to make sure and just have your child to teach your child to wash their face properly and wash their hands properly.
Ooh, I also fun fact or fun tip for the day. Something I learned from a center I used to work at was helping teach your children how to cough into their arms or cough into their elbows,
Mm-hmm.
or sneeze, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Villafam, you guys can take a sticker and put it on their upper arm towards their elbow or wherever you want them to aim their cough or sneeze. And when they start coughing or sneezing, you can tell them, hey, when you're coughing or sneezing, you need to cough into your sticker, cough onto the sticker, because then it becomes a game. It's like, oh, I can find the sticker, I can do this,
Yeah.
which teaches them basic health knowledge and teaches them like about their body parts too.
Absolutely, and it involves play with children. Like they like to play, and sometimes they learn best with play, with games, with like challenges. Because
Oh,
when I teach, I like to like make different games because that's how he like to learn. So
yeah,
fun, and it makes it fun and enjoyable for the child too.
absolutely. Um, Other forms of basic needs are like making sure your child has the fundamentals to get them through school and day-to-day life. So if your child is having issues in school with seeing or having issues in school with understanding certain subjects, maybe getting their like health checked and seeing if they need glasses or seeing if they have any learning issues or learning disadvantages such as dyslexia, or maybe they just need a tutor to like boost their math skills or boost their reading skills.
Yeah, so that's a form of like educational neglect. So
Mhm.
just making sure that your child is enrolled in school and making sure that they're getting the they're making sure that they're getting the education that they need and they're not just getting passed just because no child is supposed to be get left behind. So
Yeah.
just make sure that get tutors if needed. Just get the help that they need, because some kids do have educational, like they have learning disabilities, and all you have to do is like just learn about the learning disabilities that they have. Like get help. There's therapists. There's a lot of people out here to help with those certain learning disabilities.
Yeah.
Um, another form of neglect could be like emotional neglect, like not providing your child with the emotional support that they need when they're going through certain situations in life. Um, it could be not providing affection. I know
Yeah.
a lot of times. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, but like when I was growing up, I didn't receive a lot of affection. Um, so that could be a form of neglect as well.
Yeah. I think it's important that you said um, the emotional needs because these themes are like overlapping almost. Um, Especially like the emotional needs overlap into educational needs because if they're not being engaged at home, um, if like physical needs, emotional needs, um, all those needs, if they're not being met at home, those impact the rest of like their daily like motivations, their daily tasks. So, for example, we talked about the emotional needs. If they feel like they aren't being listened to at home, they're going to talk a lot less in school because they don't feel like they'll be listened to at school. It's a cycle that just keeps like it feeds on them. These kids, they'll sit here um, and they just carry all of that by themselves. And if they feel like they're not, those needs aren't being met, it's just one thing after the other, and you'll see like a downfall in grades,
Mm-hmm.
um, downfall in like basic activities. They'll stop cleaning up after themselves or cleaning up themselves in general, stop talking even.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a example of like emotional neglect, because like I'm definitely now just when I was in high school, I definitely wasn't talking or participating a lot. I never really, just asked for support. But um
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I found very helpful was that we had at my high school, we had um like a school psychologist on, like,
Yeah.
that was present during the day. And I know it was a point of time where I was talking to them, but I didn't talk to them long because they felt as though none of my home problems was interfering with my grades, because I had a I had still had I could still manage to get good grades with handling the stuff that I was going on dealing with at home.
Yeah.
That was helpful though, having like a school psychologist on deck.
Yeah. We'll definitely jump back onto that too. Um, with like the resources and stuff, I feel like it's important to know um, that there are resources out there for families that feel like they're taking on a lot because
Some things are unintentional, like some neglect is unintentional. Yeah.
yeah, some neglect is unintentional. It's just factors of life hitting hard,
Mm-hmm.
losing a job,
Poverty,
um,
you know.
poverty, losing your house or jumping house to house, moving suddenly, just things that happen in an adult's life that carries on into the child unintentionally.
Yeah.
Jumping into like the resources, we definitely will do that. Um, because it's important to know that you're not alone and that people go through different things at different times in their life. And there are different ways that you can get support temporarily or even long term because we all need help sometimes. That's what the village is for.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're here to help. But yeah, it is a lot of resources that can help you, and we'll get to that towards the end.
Mm-hmm. Lack of discipline. That's a good one.
Mhm.
How is lack of discipline a form of neglect, huh? Uh-huh.
I think like a discipline could be a form of neglect, because well, from my standpoint, if like you don't discipline your child, then that means that means you're allowing your child to basically run all over you, and they can
Mhm.
take that they can take that into school and into their own lives, or when they get older. And I think it's just important to discipline your child because they need skills. They need to learn responsibility. They
Absolutely.
a lot of things that kids need to learn. So proper discipline is definitely important.
Oh, absolutely. And this is very specifically discipline, not punishment. Punishment is its own topic completely, but lack of discipline specifically, lack of like basic structure
Mm-hmm.
to guide your child, not giving your child a strict schedule, you have to do it this way, but like specifically discipline and like how you take care of your child's like behaviors or
Mm-hmm.
how you address the behaviors and like their functioning through life.
Yeah, it's like discipline is helping them learn how to basically grow. Like you don't like you learn from your mistakes. You don't make a mistake and keep making that mistake over and over again. It's not a mistake at that point.
Oh
So
yeah.
discipline's important.
One thing we see a lot of when we talk about lack of discipline in the school setting is children who hit or bite.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and by lack of discipline, typically these are the families that come in and say, well, who provoked my child? Who, basically, it's the families that protect the child and the child can do no wrong.
Yep. Don't take responsibility.
This shows the child that they can actually do no wrong,
Yeah.
which
Mm-hmm.
sets the child up for failure, unfortunately, because then as they get older, this becomes the quote unquote problem child who um, comes to school or they get like in school suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the response is, who addressed my child? Who caused my child to do this? Because my child is the good child. This
Right.
doesn't give your child the proper support to make good decisions by themselves. So that's what we mean by like lack of discipline.
Yeah. Some other signs of neglect could be as kids get older, they might steal or like beg for money for food for their family, because a lot of kids try to take on the responsibility of providing when it's not really their place to provide. But
Oh
they
wow, yeah.
so they'll look for money, they'll look for food to take, they'll look for just things that they need at home basically, and they'll try to get it by any means. But that's just more when they get a little older.
Actually, that reminds me of like children. So, in addition to children taking on the roles of like being like the responsible one and trying to provide, this also falls under like children who parent their siblings.
Yeah, that's a good one. Way to begin on that one. For real. Like I know that like I didn't parent my siblings, but I feel like there are a lot of most of them are very dependent on me. So
It's hard. I can only imagine.
I can just relate to it, but it can be hard. I can only imagine trying to parent your siblings. Um,
Imagine being like 13 or 14, um, and having like baby siblings or infant siblings
yeah,
and trying to juggle taking care of your siblings, taking care of your like education, and possibly even 13, 14, finding like your first like under the table job to try and make ends meet and help out your family. Like
yeah,
kids
absolutely.
actually do that.
Yeah, and well, I don't want to talk too much my family business, but I know that I don't like to see like my nephews and stuff when they're home and they supposed to get their schoolwork done, but instead they're taking care of their little infant baby brothers and sisters. And I always tell their mom like, no, this is not. They need to be focused on trying to get their schoolwork done and
Hmm.
that. And that's where I feel like I don't know. That's why I want to. I don't know. I feel like I should be I should help my nephew, let him come stay with me and let him be his own person, let him learn how to handle his money, let him learn how to let him stay focused on his education for one, because his education is important. Like he shouldn't be, I feel as though he shouldn't have to worry about a baby.
And
It's not
then,
a responsibility.
yeah, on top of that, on top of him taking care of his education, just him being a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is sad for me to like go over there the other day and just see him just feeding a baby instead of like, being a child like he is. He's only 12, so he's definitely still a child.
Yeah.
But it's things like that it could be unintentional, it could be intentional a little, but it's just really sometimes it's really hard to tell.
Yeah. It's parenting is hard.
Yeah.
I I am an educator, a teacher. I'm not a parent yet, but
Me
just from the
educated.
parents I've met, I give props to every single parent I know, every single parent I've met, and every single parent that I haven't met, because I'm with your child maybe 6, 8 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
but you guys are with them 99% of their life. And for you guys to make things work and try and make things happen no matter what you're going through,
Yeah.
props to you guys for that. But that's why the village is so important, because we don't want you to have to go through that, and we don't want your children to have to feel that either. We want you to feel like you have a support system and you have the strength. We want to remind you guys that you have done everything in your power, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for encouragement. We all know those, we have children that have difficult days that make us just want to
But yeah, help is there. You gotta build
um,
a village.
absolutely build the village.
Definitely still building our village. And even still to this day, it's hard for me to ask for help.
Oh, absolutely. But when you actually do ask for help, doesn't it feel empowering to know that someone's got your back?
Absolutely, yeah. It just feels so much better. I can stop worrying sometimes.
Hmm. So some of the resources that we found, um, the resources that we found specifically in Maryland. So Two Village Girls is Baltimore based currently. So we went with Maryland resources, but if needed or asked, we are more than happy to offer resources and find resources for you guys in different states, different countries. Um, if you guys just let us know in the comments or anything, we're actually going to post the website on our blog, but the website we found is childwelfare.gov. Um, and basically, on this website, you can report abuse or neglect, or you can find different resources to help you connect with people, food, resources, employment resources, crisis, health, housing. It's basically a little bit of everything to get you guys back on your feet, or just guide you along the way if you just need someone to talk to. And yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you go in there, you can just get, even if you just need to, um, some parenting help, some parenting support, some parenting tips, there is there for you to look over, to read. Um, yeah, it's a lot of different resources on here
Absolutely.
to help you throughout your parenting journey.
And you can specify, there's an option to find help with your personal situation, so you can just talk to someone and they can guide you in the right direction. There's support all over.
Yeah, some broader resources could be like, a lot of food stamps. They do, some state government assistance give you food stamps and TCA, temporary cash assistance, and um, They also help you find, give you daycare vouchers if you need, can't pay for daycare out of pocket. They can help you pay for daycare. They also have housing assistance if you need help finding housing. Yeah, so there's a lot of resources you can use to help make parenting just a little bit more easier.
Yep. And it's also like having these resources are important for people that feel like they don't have a village. They don't have like that trusty friend or family member they can turn to if something happens to them spur of the moment. So having this knowledge just in your back pocket is great to know. Another resource that you can use is like having babysitters if you feel like you don't have that family member or friend, hiring a babysitter or a nanny. That will be one more person on your team that you can trust with school pickups, school drop-offs, watching your child while you're at work, feeding your child. It's basically like someone who can stay at home with you and support you with raising your child during the week or during your times where you feel like you're struggling. Just having that extra person on hand, whether you're there or not, because you definitely can have your babysitter there while you're at home and they just help with any extra needs you might have. They're very flexible. There are certain sites you can use to like filter through the babysitters. Angie, you have more experience on those sites. What can you offer?
So the site I used to find my nanny/teacher job was Cedar City. So I found my family on Cedar City. They found me. We contacted each other like that. But it's other websites where you can find babysitters on Care. Um, it's another one called Kinder Care. It's a lot of them actually. You just have to look them up and like do some research yourself. It's also like they'd also do background checks and stuff like that. Babysitters, like I paid on my Cedar City page for my background checks, so I make sure that my families that I reach out to know that I have a good background and that they can trust me and stuff like that. So if
That's
you're
awesome.
worried about stuff like that, about trusting, they do background checks. They pay for even Cedar City sometimes even give us background checks for free sometimes, but it all depends. And you can also do your own background checks too, and you'll also pay for your own background checks if you need to for a certain person.
That's, I mean, having that is awesome because then it guarantees you that, hey, this person I'm talking to is actually a person, first of all.
Yeah, because it is some scams on like I know especially on care.com, because when I first wanted to do like nannying and babysitting, um it was like this big scam. They tried to pay me some money ahead of time, like you know that you don't get paid thousands of dollars ahead of time, so it's a lot of,
Yeah,
it's got to be careful for them.
that's true.
But it is help out there, babysitters, they're out there, nannies.
We've got many, many options, many, many resources. And like we said before, all the resources that we talked about today are going to be put in the blog on our website, twovillagegirls.wordpress.com. Check us out. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks Villa fam for tuning in again to another episode with Two Village Girls. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes. If you guys want to learn more information about neglect, check out our blog page where we'll be posting every Wednesday and Saturday. Please follow us on all our social medias, which will be listed in the description box below. As always, we want to send you out with some positive vibes to get you through the rest of your week. And this week's inspirational quote is by Carol Buckner. It says, "They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." That's all. We will catch you guys next week.